Auditor General's report revealed that GC Strategies, a Liberal insider company, was paid a whopping $64.5 million tax dollars by the Liberal government to do literally nothing. Think about how Canadians struggling to make ends meet feel about having to pay massive taxes just to enrich Liberal insiders. It's like reverse Robin Hood. Will the Liberals support our motion to get Canadians' money back from these scammers, or will they keep robbing Canadians to pay their friends?
The Honourable Minister of Government Transformation.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And let me be absolutely clear, we will never tolerate any misbehavior or misconduct from our suppliers or their subcontractors. We've taken legal actions against GC Strategies. We've referred cases to the RCMP because we will always defend the integrity of our procurement system. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Member for Calgary-Nose Hill.
Not only are the Liberals tolerating this behavior, they're promoting the people who oversaw it. In the normal world, somebody who would have overseen $65 million going to scammers would have been fired, but instead, these ministers have been promoted. And today we found out that these ministers want to give even more money to consultants to manage web pages. Why is it with these Liberals, incompetent politicians get promoted while Canadian taxpayers get stuck with the bill?
The Honourable Minister of Government Transformation.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And as I've mentioned time and time again last week, we will always defend the integrity of our procurement system, and we will always hold bad actors to account, which is why, Mr. Speaker, of the company she's mentioned, we've revoked its security clearance. We've terminated all contracts more than a year ago. We've put in place the Office of Supplier Integrity, which has barred GC Strategies from contracting with the government for 7 years. We've taken legal actions against the company. We've referred cases to the RCMP. We will always hold responsible suppliers and their subcontractors who misconduct. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Member for Provencher.
Mr. Speaker, the Auditor General confirmed GC Strategies, a two-person company, got $64 million from the Liberals, often without competitive bidding. In nearly half the contracts, there's no proof of even any work being done. In 82% of cases, departments didn't check if taxpayers were overpaying, and in 50% contracts, security clearances were not properly enforced, including departments like Global Affairs and National Defence. A total collapse of basic oversight, but taxpayers are still forced to pay, while Liberal insiders get rich. Will every member in this House vote to get Canadians their money back?
Hear, hear. The Honourable Minister of Government Transformation.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and we will never tolerate misconduct from our suppliers or their subcontractors. We've taken legal actions against GC Strategies. We've referred cases to the RCMP, Mr. Speaker, because we will never tolerate misconduct from our suppliers. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Member for Provencher.
That's right, Mr. Speaker. GC Strategies is under RCMP investigation. The Auditor General exposed millions paid without proof of work, without oversight, and without security rules being followed. And the ministers responsible? They didn't get fired. They got promoted, rewarded by this Prime Minister. Only with Liberals do you fail upwards. Collect promotions for incompetence and leave the taxpayer on the hook. Same scandals, same ministers. Why is Liberal corruption always rewarded while Canadians get the bill?
Good question. The Honourable Minister of Government Transformation.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur le Président. Je vous remercie.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and I'd like to thank my colleague for his question. As I've repeatedly said last week, we will never tolerate any misconduct from our suppliers. That's why we have sued the company. We have referred this to the RCMP. We have cooperated with the Auditor General. We will always defend the integrity of our procurement system in Canada.
Leamington.
Through questioning Liberal ministers last week, we know that they had no clue why $64 million was paid to GC Strategies for work not done. The Auditor General found the following. Security requirements were not enforced, contract monitoring policies were ignored, procurement policies were not followed, and deliverables were not confirmed before payment. Liberal ministers responsible for this fraud, they're promoted upwards. Mr. Speaker, why? After cheap talk of this government, saying that's the old government, when will the new government vote in favour of getting Canadians their money back?
Hear, hear. The Honourable Minister of Government Transformation.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On this side of the aisle, we'll always defend the integrity of our procurement system, which is why we've put in place recommendations from previous report of the Auditor General. We've terminated all contracts with GC Strategies more than a year ago. We've revoked their security clearance. We've set up the Office of Supplier Integrity, which has barred GC Strategies from contracting with the government for the next 7 years. We've referred cases to the RCMP, and we've taken legal actions against GC Strategies. Why, Mr. Speaker? Because we will never tolerate bad actors in our supplyment process. Thank you.
The Honourable Member for Portneuf-Jacques-Cartier. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Public funds have to be managed very carefully and should serve the interests of our country, not Liberal cronies. In Quebec, there's an expression for an abuse of power and the code of silence used to protect insiders. A friend is a friend. Will the Liberal ministers of the past 10 years ask their buddies at GC Strategies to repay the $64 million paid by law-abiding Canadians? The Honourable Minister of Government Transformation. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and I reject the premise of my colleague's question. We will never tolerate abuse by our suppliers. That's why we've taken legal action against GC Strategies and referred this matter to the RCMP, because we will always defend the integrity of our procurement system. The Honourable Member for Portneuf-Jacques-Cartier. Let's talk about integrity. We Conservatives today tabled a motion calling, among other things, for the $64 million that was paid in excess to GC Strategies to be, without any work done, to be paid back to Canadians. Will the Liberal ministers of the past 10 years who approved this payoff to their cronies, will they finally show today some integrity by supporting our motion to force a refund and ban that company, not for 7 years, but for life? The Honourable Minister of Government Transformation. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to remind my colleague that the Office of Supplier Integrity operates at arm's length, and they decided to ban GC Strategies for the next 7 years. But we had already taken action. We will never tolerate any misconduct by our suppliers. We've taken legal action against GC Strategies. We referred the matter to the RCMP, and we cancelled all contracts more than a year ago and revoked their security clearance, because we will always defend the integrity of our procurement system.